On this week's episode, we're talking about the Super Bowl champs, our Olympic wrap-up, a potential new golf league, and some trades in the NHL. Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 7, season 2 of Points and Penalties. For our listeners, we'd like you to please subscribe wherever you get your podcast. For our viewers in YouTube, please be sure to subscribe by clicking this little button down here in the bottom right corner of the video. And no matter how you check us out, please give us a follow, a like on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at Points Penalties. Once again, my name is Josh. With me are my co-hosts Kevin, Jesse, and Peter. Kev, we always start with you. We're not going to change it today. What do you got going on in your drink?
Boys, this one's going to be a fun one. I have myself a Nickelbrook Brewing Kentucky Bastard. It's an Imperial Stout. It is a 11.9%.
Jesus. Holy.
It's like, yeah. So this
That's a
is
spicy meatball for 10:30 in the morning, bro.
This is going to be the first.
Yeah, don't give a fuck.
All right. Opened. Let's go.
This is gonna be funny. Yeah, not quite the reaction I thought we were gonna get, but
well,
he's keeping composure.
It's thick. I can tell you that.
Thick, yeah.
Hit you in the little warm spot right now. So yeah, no, it's doable. I mean, I might get through it, might not. We'll give her a go.
Oh, you're getting through it.
Yeah, maybe.
Can't be wasting that.
It's gonna be a 4-hour fucking podcast until you get through it, man. We gotta.
Right.
We're just gonna keep recycling penalty boxes until you finish.
Great. Pedro, what's your poison today?
Thanks, Kev. My poison today is a Squeeze Box New England IPA from Kitty Bitty Brewing. It's a strong beer, although about half as potent as what you're drinking at 6%. Yeah, it's from Kitty Bitty Brewing, made here in St. John's, Newfoundland. Squeeze box, like an accordion. Get it?
Peter's a new rep there for Kitty Bitty.
Hoping for that sponsorship still.
Fuck, send the beers this way, man.
Nothing's coming. It's good. It's good. Not bad at all. It actually isn't even all that hoppy for a strong New England IPA. Let's go to Jesse. What are you drinking?
Well, I'm drinking Bellwoods Brewery Jutsu Pale Ale.
What? Pale ale?
Jutsu?
Okay.
I don't know, Jutsu maybe, but it's a
No, I prefer
5.6.
Jutsu.
Yeah, that's what I prefer too. It's a 5.6%, so nothing strong. Morning beer. I'm pretty pumped for this. So here we go. Very, very good. Yosh, what are you having?
Well, I got somebody's repeat from last year. I know, I'm sorry, boys. I couldn't get it with a fresh one. It's just what I had in the fucking fridge, okay? Anyway, this is a Henderson Brewing and Rush collaboration. So it is a Rush Canadian Gold Ale. It says this beer is for geniuses, which makes sense that I'm drinking it. And I'm sure it's pretty tasty. It's only 5.5, so I am the bitch of the week, but no big deal, whatever. It is the morning. So let's crack this bad boy open. I have a feeling I'm going to really like this because it's just a regular old golden ale. It's nothing, no IPA, no nothing, no shitty stout or whatever. So here we go.
Don't be hating the stouts.
All right, fair. Oh, yeah. Just a regular old beer. Gotta love it first thing in the morning. Well, guys, we had a pretty big week.
Very good week.
Super Bowl finished up. Our playoff, or sorry, NFL
Boom.
playoffs did. We got our Olympics have wrapped up this week. I believe the closing ceremonies is later this evening, which nobody watches that shit anyway. It's boring. Just watch people walk around. Yay, hi. I'm sure it's cool to be there if you're an athlete, but not so much if you're a TV watcher. But anyway, let's start with the Olympics, guys. So in my opinion, the Beijing Olympics here in 2022 have been less than spectacular for sure. Just didn't have the same oomph as it has in previous years. It could be because this Olympic run has been marred with political and human rights issues that even well before the Olympics has started. There has been judging controversy, doping controversy, clothing controversies, and disqualifications, and among other things. And all this kind of leaves a bad taste in my mouth, just in the sense that I just didn't care that much this year. Usually I'm right on it, both summer and winter. I'm usually, every night I'm usually watching something. This time around, meh. If it was a cool event, I'd watch it, but I was just watching everything just because. And maybe it was just the timing too, like the time change. Everything is overnight, so you're not watching live stuff, too much of it anyway. And maybe that's what it was. But one of the big things that leaves a bad taste in my mouth, as I mentioned, was Russian or ROC figure skater that was allowed to compete after testing positive for an illegal substance. So in December of 2021, young prodigy skater Kamila Valieva, she tested positive for a banned heart medication. Typically, this medication that she took, which is called trimetazidine, something like that, we'll call it TMZ for short. So typically, this medication is for angina, which is chest pain from reduced blood flow to the heart. But in athletes, it could help them potentially perform at a higher heart rate for a longer period of time. So obviously you can see why this would be an illegal substance. Now this drug TMZ was listed as a metabolic modulator. It's prohibited at all times in and out of competition. And she took this drug. Now she's 15 years old. She said that her grandfather takes TMZ and she must have inadvertently ingested it. If that's not a fucking cop out, I don't know what is. Like, you inadvertently took the wrong drug? Come on. That's ridiculous. Like, have you guys ever taken the wrong drug? Like, and I'm not talking about illegal.
I mean, maybe, yeah,
really,
yeah.
But like,
A couple different
I just
substances.
mean like, okay, did you maybe go to take an Advil and you took a fucking birth control pill? No, that never happened. Right? Not likely anyway. Jesse maybe, but
Why would I be the one?
I don't know.
No, I agree.
I just have never accidentally taken the wrong pill. I wanted to take that Advil and I took a Robax. No, yesterday actually I was grabbing some Advil for my fiance and I actually did grab the Robax, but I was like, oh,
So
shit,
it would be you that would grab the
no,
birth
but I'm like,
control.
oh shit, that's Robax. It's not
Just
fucking
trying to
Advil.
throw it off on me with no evidence. You're just as bad as the skater.
Hey, I didn't give her the Robax when she wanted an Advil. So, it just, to me, is just goofy that she inadvertently ingested it. So anyway, so Valieva and the ROC team, they were first in the team figure skating event. The medal ceremony has not been completed yet because of this ongoing investigation through the doping scandal here. Valieva was allowed to compete in an individual competition afterwards, which makes no sense. If there's an investigation for a doping scandal, why are you allowed to compete again? Now, she didn't fare well, probably because of all the BS that she's dealing with here with her, I'll call it steroids, but I don't think it was a steroid. It was just more performance enhancing. So basically my question to you guys is, because this was known in late December, there was a month and a half or a month and a bit before the Olympics. Do you think that the Russian skater should have been able to step foot on Olympic ice? Now, just to give you a little bit of reference here and go back to the Tokyo Olympics, if you remember the sprinter Sha'Carri Richardson for the US, her mother had passed away. She decided that she needed to smoke some weed to calm the fuck down and to relax herself. And she was banned from the Summer Games. And last time I checked, weed isn't performance enhancing. It pretty much will put you to sleep, like, as opposed to get you going. So So do you
So-
think, based on this, do you think that she should have been allowed on ice, period?
So I'm going to start by tossing out a challenge because I don't think that they knew that she had tested positive in December until after she had already competed or at least started skating in Beijing, which is part of the reason why, as far as I understand, they allowed her to continue because the results from the tournament in December were only revealed, I guess, tested, whatever the word is, after Beijing had already started, after she had already been skating. And because she was a minor, the rules are different, and she was likely not to get suspended anyway, even if she was deemed guilty of doping. Because I don't think she was deemed guilty immediately. There's an investigation that has to happen, I guess. I don't know the rules very well, but so that's, from what I understand, that's why she was allowed to continue to skate. And I don't think they've determined yet if she or if the team, because she won a group competition, like they won gold in team figure skating, I guess.
Yeah. Well, they haven't won gold yet because they haven't been.
Right, exactly. So they haven't decided yet because I guess the investigation is not complete if they're going to keep the gold or not. So that, as far as I understand, is why she was allowed to keep competing, and that banning her sort of halfway through the Olympics as a 15-year-old or whatever she is would have been detrimental to the athlete, and it may not even be her fault that this happened. It might be, it might not be. We don't know. Like you say, it's hard to take accidental drugs, but I suppose it could happen.
I mean,
So-
like, she's in charge of her own body, right? She's got to watch what she puts in, and this is an illegal substance.
Yes, but I think because she's a minor, the rules are more lenient.
You said challenge on this, right, Pedro?
Yeah.
All right. Are we gonna-
I'm trying to figure it out here, the timeline.
Yeah, because what Josh said was that we knew in December that she had been doping, and she was still allowed to compete, which I don't think is the case. I don't think we found out that she was doping in December.
Until
until-
after the team skate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it says on February 7th, she and the Russian figure skaters placed first in the team event. On February 8th, it was revealed that Valieva had tested positive for TMZ at the Russian Figure Skating Championships in St. Petersburg, Russia, which was on December 25th.
Yeah. And it was something like the results went to a lab, and the lab like just put it in the queue, and they didn't treat it with any urgency. So it took like 6 weeks or something to get any results out of the lab.
Okay, so that's fair. She's allowed to step on the ice to begin with, but the second day after they win that competition, they still said, it might have been a day or two, but they said, you're okay to compete later on. So in the free skate, which she didn't do very well in, but that's regardless of how well she did.
Yeah.
She, in my opinion, if they have figured this out and they're like, there's an investigation ongoing to see if they're going to get these gold medals for the team event, why were they even allowing her to skate in the free skate, the individual free skate? I realize that it could be detrimental to her athletic prowess in the future, and it already has, because she said after her fourth place finish in the individual, she said she'll never step foot on the ice again because of all this crap. Which she did it to herself. Like you said, Jess, she might be 15, but she's still in charge of her own body. And I don't think that there should be a rule difference in doping based on how old you are. Like we know that gymnasts and figure skaters are always super young. At least when they come out, and once you're a champion a few times, then obviously you get older, but you don't see a 40-year-old fucking figure skater or gymnast typically. They're always young. And yes, they're more impressionable for sure when they're younger, but
Also more trusting, and
right.
there's a lot behind all that with her being young. And I get, because she's a minor, they don't think she's totally in charge of putting in, but she's an athlete. She needs to know what she's putting in her body. Like, maybe because it was back in December that this is when they tested it. Like, who knows? Like, I'm sure that she's been tested a few times since then. I don't know if you guys heard if they were negative or not. Since the team figure skate and the single. So to me, it seems like the regular thing that Russia or ROC has been doing is they dope up right before the Olympics and stuff like that, and then they just shut it off, or they have fake walls and try and switch P out or whatever kind of thing like that, because there is a documentary about that, and that happened in Sochi, right? So it's, to me, like, I'm with you on watching the Olympics. Like, I don't think much of it anymore, just because of all the scandal that has happened and how corrupt the Olympics are now. So you lose your attention for it, because there's so many scandals. They can't seem to figure out which way they want to go. Either everyone does drugs and we just see who the best athletes are, or stop being so corrupt, right?
Or just get rid of them. I mean, they're ROC for a reason. So
Well, I'm sure they're not the only ones that are doing weird stuff like this, but they are the predominant ones for sure.
I don't think they should have been there at all.
Yeah, that's a fair argument.
So do you think then that she should have been able to skate the second time around in the free skate, the individual free skate, after we know that she was doping, at least in December? Like, is that far enough between? And if there was, I guess, if they did a negative test, would you be okay with her skating in that if it was a negative test? If they didn't come up with a test, or maybe they don't do testing until after your event, like, I just don't. To me, she shouldn't have been allowed back on the ice. You know, like I said, Pete. So you won your challenge there for sure. But prior to me knowing that, if I was an Olympic,
rare feat,
yeah,
challenging,
yeah, for sure. So if I was an Olympic committee member, and had you known that she was doping prior, in my eyes, she would have or should not have been allowed to step on the ice. But obviously, we didn't know that, so she was for the first team in thing. Fine. For me, she shouldn't have been allowed on for the individual on the ice. She should have been balanced. Say, sorry about your luck, kid, but you got to fucking not cheat.
Yeah. So I hear you. And I think if she was an adult, that would have been the decision. But I think because the rules are slightly different for a minor, and I don't think they fully had time to complete a proper investigation yet, because they just fucking learned it like after the event, and I don't know when her singles event was, but there hasn't been a lot of time since. So I think they just didn't have enough time to properly investigate everything. So instead of saying, no, you're banned, you can't skate, they let her skate. If she had won gold in the singles, it probably would have been sort of on hold, the same as the other.
They did say that if she finished in the top 3 in the singles individual figure skating thing, then that the medal ceremony would not take place until investigations could be completed. So that kind of leads into my next question. Do you think that ROC should win the gold for that team competition?
I mean, probably not.
I guess it's kind of going to depend on the investigation.
Right, exactly. And I think that's the whole point here, is that they haven't had the time to understand what happened and what's in this girl's body and why it got there. So I agree with what they did with letting her skate,
really,
and figuring it out. And if she's guilty, if she knowingly doped, then strip the medals for sure and punish her as applicable. But who knows? Maybe she is innocent in this, and the doctor told her she had to take this for whatever reason, or she took her grandpa's medicine by accident, or whatever the fuck happened. We don't know yet. So I'm okay with what they did.
Yeah, I'm not. But I already just said my piece about the Olympics and the committee and what I think of them. But I don't think you should have allowed it, even if she is a minor. I know it's not breaking any rules at that point, like you said, Peter. But
not that it's not breaking rules, but it's the punishment is different when you're a minor.
Yeah, and the protocol is different when you're a minor, for sure. But I don't know if it should be though when it comes to doping.
I think-
you're an Olympian. You're part
Yeah.
of everybody else. And I get like you're younger, impressionable, but anyway, we've harped on that for a while. But I just think like you gotta give respect to the same thing, especially with that U.S. runner because she got high and she was banned from the race.
Well, I think we can all agree that that was dumb.
Yes, but at the same time, like, you know, with marijuana, it's been, you know, it's everywhere is leading towards decriminalization, if not legalization. You know, the NBA has stopped testing for marijuana. Like, they don't give a fuck anymore. You smoke dope, you smoke dope. They're cool with it. Like, you're not going to get suspended. And I think the NFL is going that way too, if they aren't already.
There's still, I think there's still something about a test or something like that, but like they give you like enough notice, I guess.
Get it out of your system. We're gonna test you for weed, bud, in 3 weeks.
In a month and a half,
Yeah.
you get tested.
Yeah, so it's
Fuck, but
they're going about the same way, and who knows, maybe they might change it this offseason.
Anyway, so on a good sportsmanship note, I'd like to give some credit to Dutch speed skater Kai Burbage, who pulled up in his race versus Canadian Laurent Dubreuil in the men's 1,000 meter, I believe it was long track.
Debris.
Dubreuil, whatever, right?
Debris.
LD, we'll call him Laurent. Just call him Laurent. All right, so competitors in this race are required to change lanes after each lap. That obviously gives them equal opportunity on the inside and the outside of the track. And the skater who's coming from the outside to inside always has the right of way. So Verbiage followed the rules, letting Dubreuil race ahead of him, even though it cost him this chance at a podium spot. And he said that he didn't have enough speed to go before him, so he would have cut him off. Basically, is what he's saying if he tried to swap. So he basically said he had to slow up so that Dubreuil could pass him or could get into the outside lane before the Dutch skater could get into the inside lane. Basically said he would have been DQ'd had he hit him or had he not let him by first. So he's like, well, instead of getting DQ'd, I'd rather just pull up and let him race his race. The Canadian was on a fast time. So Verbiage said, it's pretty sad. He's pretty disappointed that it happened in the Olympics, but he's like, yeah, I guess somebody had to lose. And then Dubreuil after the race said that it's tough to do that in an Olympic race. He said he can't thank him enough for kind of pulling up. Not that he gave him the win, but for, not crashing into him type thing to try and get that medal spot or what have you. He said it was really classy and professional. And I 100% agree. I thought this was a really good story, both for the Canadian and the Dutch skaters. So I don't know if you guys saw this, but like I said, I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great to see sportsmanship like that in sport and in the Olympics. And like you said, it's an extremely tough thing to do when you're trying to give it your all in the Olympics, and you see that you got to pull up here.
Yeah, there's just no chance that.
Yeah, how many skaters would say, no, I'm giving it my all and I'm powering through.
Yeah, and would you rather get DQ'd
Right.
as opposed to pull up yourself, right? I mean,
Yeah.
no matter what, you're not. I mean, at least he finished, right? At least the guy finished, and I think he probably finished 4th or whatever. But at least he, to me, a finish, even though if you pull up, is better than a DQ, especially in the Olympics. It's
and especially when you don't take out another competitor.
right, because that would have ruined his chances at a medal, right?
Yeah.
So, anyway, one sport, one event that we always get a medal in every single time is the Canadian women hockey.
Yeah.
Kev, you touched on this a bit last week. Were they just heading into the finals, I guess, or was it semis when we were talking about them last? I can't remember. It was a week ago, so it's probably semis or something. But anyway, MPP, our girl Marie-Philippe Poulin, she scores again in a gold medal game, obviously to lead this year's Canadian team over the Americans.
4 in a row, by the way. 4 gold medal games in a row. She's scored
Every gold medal game she's been a part of, she scored. Olympic gold medal.
Clutch.
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously we love this win. That's why I'm wearing the old Hockey Canada hat today. But do you think that this win was impressive? Is it shocking that they won?
It's always the same two teams, though, right? You'll always see Canada, U.S. in the any of these women's tournaments. Not alone with the Olympics. It's one of those rivalries, man. It can go up or to who knows, and it's just unfortunate that USA is just not as good as Canada.
Okay, but was the win impressive?
Oh,
Because
I think
they're
so.
always there. They're
Every
there
time.
every single year.
Every
Or
time
every
they
single
win,
Olympics.
it doesn't matter if it's Worlds. Doesn't matter. Every time they do it.
So
Kudos.
even though there's only one other team that is even remotely close to their capabilities, you still think it's an impressive win to beat that team. They beat them 5
sure.
out of 7 opportunities.
For sure.
No, 5 out of 6 opportunities.
For sure. I think so. I think
Okay.
anytime you can take out your rival, awesome.
I think the more impressive thing is that they continue to this dominance. That's the crazy part of this all, is that it's just been these two teams all the time, and that's what I find is more shocking. With them beating, like, it was 3-2, so it was a close game. So,
And they usually are close games. Like,
yeah, and it's gold medals. So, like, am I impressed with the win? I guess you could argue I expect it. So
you
impressed.
definitely weren't shocked. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
Like I said, I'm more shocked at just the complete dominance of Canada for the last how many ever years. Like, it's been forever.
Every single year that the women's hockey has been in the Olympics, Canada has been in the final. Every year.
Well, there you go. Like that. Like
I think there's been 7 tournaments, I believe. So it started in 98. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 Olympic tournaments since women's hockey was introduced into the Olympics. Out of those 7, Canada has been in the final 7 times. The US has been in 6 times in the final. The only other team was Sweden in 2006. They were in the final. They beat the Americans in the previous game, or maybe it was the Canadians might have beat the Americans in the semis. But regardless, the Americans did end up finishing 3rd that year. But it's always Canada, US. So for me, it wasn't shocking. And yes, it's impressive that they continue to win and they do have that dominance, like you said, Jess, but I just don't care. Like, they're gonna win. They're gonna win. Like I said, they have 5 golds and 2 silver medals since the inception of women's hockey in the Olympics. They're just, I think what they would be better off to do, considering the North Americans destroy and dominate this event for the ladies at least, is maybe the Canada and US, they should have 2 tournaments. Canada versus US for a 7-game series, and whoever wins, because that
Like
would
a
be
summit
fucking,
series.
that would be intense.
Like
right?
a summit
And then the rest
series
of
is
them
what
play a
you're saying.
regular tournament for bronze.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
that's no.
Yeah, man. Like I said, it's very poor. The other countries they're showing is very poor. You got Finland, who has won. I think they got like 4 bronze medals, and that's the next most total medals between after the Canadians and the Americans. But yeah, I don't know.
But the game will grow in like Europe and the rest of the world
It hasn't in 21 years.
Okay, 21 years is not really that long. That's one
a
generation.
streak will end. Like, a streak always ends. So, like, it'll happen, but yeah, it might not be for a while.
Yeah, I mean, like, this is far from the only sport that's like this too. Like, if Norway, who's fucking far and away leading in the medal count, take a look at where their medals are coming from.
Yeah, it's like biathlon.
It's biathlon.
Cross country skiing. Yeah.
So should biathlon still be an Olympic sport, even though Norway wins it all the time?
Well, I'm not saying it shouldn't
Sure
be
it
an Olympic sport. I'm just saying switch it up a little bit and make a real fucking series between the Americans and the Canadians. That would be intense, man. 7-game series.
Not at the Olympics. You can do that separate somewhere. You can do a fucking summit series type thing that would garner a lot of attention. Probably like this gold medal game I saw a stat that it was more watched than any NHL game this season.
Really?
Yep.
Well, probably because the NHL sucks dick. So.
Whoa. That's offside, okay? That's offside.
Blow the whistle then.
Yeah, but so like people care and they want to watch, and it is a good. It's not a guaranteed win against the Americans. And I understand you're not saying that it is. You're saying that
it's a guaranteed
Canada,
silver
US.
medal at least.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, and that's the case for now, but it won't be that forever. The other countries will grow, and it's just a matter of it's more accessible and more a part of the culture in these two countries that women's hockey is flourishing. And when and if they ever get a fully fledged professional league happening that is truly successful and watched and growing, and European
They
players
do already, don't they?
They have two that are competing and they're struggling. Once they fully get into, once they merge that into one true professional.
what are the two leagues? Like there's the Premier Hockey Federation.
There's a
or
Premier
whatever.
Hockey Federation, which used to be the NWHL.
Yeah.
And there is another one that the name escapes me at the moment, but there is for sure another league. And they're like butting heads, those two leagues, which is dumb. They should join and be the NHL before. And then you can get European players to come play in those leagues or that league, and the game will grow. It'll grow in Europe. It'll become more even. It's just a matter of time. I'm pretty sure if you ask any of the women that are playing against Canada or the United States in these tournaments, if they would prefer if they were not playing those two teams and could only play for bronze, they would say no way.
Well, obviously, because anything can happen, right? Like as Kev says a lot, any given Sunday, obviously that's a reference for football, but any given Olympics, anything can happen, right? So it is possible, but it's more possible to me. It's more likely that the men lose period, like out of a medal or not gold or not silver than the ladies. The women are just too dominant. To me, it's gonna be another 50 years until they don't get a medal.
Maybe.
And even then is a stretch.
But I bet men's used to be that way too. I bet in Canadian men's hockey, I don't know when that started in the Olympics. Don't fucking challenge me on this because I'm talking out of my ass. But I bet you when that was early in the Olympics, I bet you Canadians won it all the fucking time, or at least medal all the time.
Well, they still do.
but it's not guaranteed anymore.
No, it's not guaranteed for sure.
Not in the men's. I mean, there's too many teams in the men's.
I mean, it's still
that are always
expected.
counting.
When was the last time Canada didn't medal? It was in the 90s. It was
2022, bud.
Wow. Okay. Yes. with NHL player best on best.
I believe 1998 they did not medal.
Yeah, right. Nagano.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's right.
No, I mean, I totally understand it. It's so dominant that it's like, do you watch a women's game against, Germany or against Switzerland? Like they destroy them 10-1 type thing. Like it's not, to me, I'll watch the first period until they get up 4-0. And then I'm like, all right, that's it.
Do you watch the men's play against the fucking?
You mean fucking Eric Stahl, Owen Powers, and the C team?
No, I mean best on best. I mean best
on best. Of course, you watch that. That's. But
different. Do you watch them play against fucking Kazakhstan or whatever?
I mean, Kazakhstan is the greatest country. Again, I would probably watch the beginning until they get up 4-0, and then I'm like, all right, this game is in the bag, so I don't need to watch it anymore.
So what was the difference?
I guess.
Just shoots down your idea, bud.
Correct.
I think that's a 7-game series. No matter whether it's in the Olympics or not, it's still going to be the best American and best Canadian women playing. I think that would be fucking phenomenal.
You could
it would be a lot
of
of fun
eyeballs for sure on that.
And I think it would make a lot of sense to do that outside of the Olympics.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Especially all the eyeballs for the medal game that happened more than the NHL. So
yeah, like I said, that's because the NHL sucks.
Actually, you said that, but I agree completely. With you.
Yeah. All right, guys. So just quickly here to wrap up the Olympics medal totals. Norway finishes first. Now this is based on total medals. A lot of people will say that golds, the number one golds is that's who wins the tournament or wins the Olympics, is if you have the most golds. For me, it's total medals. So I've done a total medal here. So Norway 37, shitty ROC at 32. Germany leapfrogged us today or last night, whatever, to finish with 27, and Canada has 26. So fourth place, which Kevin picked that right. Just to give everybody give Kev a pat on the back from last week. He said they were going to get 26.
Attaboy, Kev.
And the best part about this is that we beat the US. Every time we can top the US. I love it. So the US finished fifth, they had 25 total medals. And so since 1994, Canada has finished in the top 5 in total medals every Winter Olympics. And I think that's pretty impressive. Obviously, we got a lot of fucking snow here, and it makes sense. Our best tournament from terms of medals was the last variety in 2018, where we got 29 medals. But probably the best and most memorable will probably be the 2010 Olympics in Vancouver. They won 14 gold medals, which was the most of any country. We obviously won both men's and women's gold medal hockey, which was fucking huge. You get the golden goal from Sid. That was an intense. That's probably going to be for a very long time top of my list for Olympics, for Winter Olympics, is that one right there, 2010. And I wish I had more money in 2010 because I would have went and saw some stuff, but I didn't have that much money, so couldn't afford that shit.
It was
so
so
anyway,
good
guys,
to see it though.
Oh yeah,
just live, anyways.
I was at a bar for Sid's golden goal, and it was fucking insane, man.
Yeah, so was I. I may have been there with you.
Yeah, we might have been at the same bar for sure. But I remember, like, I can't remember exactly where it was.
I thought it was BP.
Was it BP? Oh, that's right. That's right. And then we ended up going downtown.
Oh, I do remember that. Yeah.
And we were just there. They blocked up a major intersection in Uptown Waterloo, and it was just a big fucking party in the middle of the street. It was pretty intense. And that's little old Waterloo. Imagine if we were in Toronto or something.
Yeah.
It would have been fucking
or Vancouver.
Serious. Yeah, or Vancouver. Yeah. So, guys, just to finish this up, I just want to know what your overall thoughts of the Beijing Olympics were.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, I get up, like my job, when I get up, I'm up usually at midnight to get ready to go to work, and I watch some live stuff, but meh.
Yeah, for me, it's when the NHL players don't play in the men's hockey, it just completely flips the switch, and it's like, okay, I don't really care that much about these Olympics. And when they're halfway across the world and the time change is difficult, you just don't end up watching that much of it, I find.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I agree there. Like, there's definitely some high points and there's some low points, which are always low points in the Olympics with scandals and whatnot. It just seems that, to me, it seems like when it's not in China or not in Russia, the scandals are way less. I don't know if it has anything to do with those two countries, but
I think it might.
I mean, like, do you guys remember any scandals, for instance, in 2010? Nothing jumps out at me like massively. When did Ross Rebliati get busted for smoking weed doing the downhill? I don't think that was in 2010 , but
no, he did end up getting that gold back.
He did.
There was that controversy.
But that was like, you know what I mean? Like, like I said, I don't think that was 2010, but I just don't think that there's nearly as many controversy or scandals when it comes to other countries.
The biggest scandal I can remember from that is the bobsled guy chugging a beer after he won the gold.
Pitcher.
Peter, I don't even know if it was the bobsled guy. I think he was like in the skeleton or something like
whatever he was. Yeah.
But yeah, that was like one of my favorite parts, minus the Crosby goal was him. As soon as he got the goal, he started chugging a pitcher of beer.
Yeah, and it starts auctioning it off. Sold to me for $1,000.
I can't remember his name though.
Nah, me neither.
I think it was Johnson.
I remember how he looks though.
Yeah.
All right, guys, that's it for our Olympics. Be another couple of years before we get into some Summer Olympics, but we'll if we're still here on the air, we'll talk about it. Who knows? We might get shut down by the CDC or well, not the CDC. What's the TV
The
thing?
IOC committee.
CRTC?
CRTC, yeah. Whatever. Doesn't matter.
Whatever.
We're not getting shut
We
down
don't
by
fucking
anyone.
know.
No. All right, Kev. I know you got an interesting topic here. Something that I would really like to get out and do is golfing. Why don't you let us know what you got?
Yeah, there's supposedly a Saudi golf tour that is trying to emerge into like a new golf league. Like the Shark, Greg Norman, he tried to do this back in the 90s with some kind of, I guess, tycoon media dude of Rupert Murdoch. They actually had Murdaugh's Sports or Fox Sports involved, that they actually had it able to put on TV. But I guess then the PGA Tour commissioner, Tim Fincham, he said no go. Now, they have been trying to get at least some of the top 100 PM players to try and come into this new league. Mickelson says there's no way that I'll ever get involved into it. I believe McIlroy said the same thing. But we do have some that would be interested. Lee Westwood said he might be publicly acknowledging that he might be involved.
Kev, I'm going to challenge you, man. I think Mickelson's interested in going.
Okay.
I'll look that up, but carry on.
That's what I think as well. But carry on.
Too bad, bud. I got the challenge, not you.
Yeah. Agreed. Agreed.
Anyway, carry on, Kevin. We'll take a look.
supporting.
Kev, are you frozen?
He's frozen.
He is frozen. Okay, so anyway, so they're talking about this league. Like Kevin was saying, Lee Westwood. There's a couple guys that I really don't know. Tommy Fleetwood, Henrik Stenson. I know Ian Poulter are weighing offers. And the big thing here is that they're basically going to hand out guaranteed money. So you come and play in this tour, and we're going to give you, I don't know, arbitrary number, $100 million. Obviously, that's a shit ton of fucking money, and a lot of people will probably jump for that. I don't think it's quite that much, but just using that as a random number.
Saudi, so they got a lot of money there.
Right, they have a ton of cash, and it's all backed by some form of Saudi government. But then,
Not backed by oil.
yeah, exactly. But then you know there's a whole issue with that. Is this money kind of dirty? You know what I mean? That's kind of the way that things have been going. And do you want to play in a tour that that is being funded by potentially dirty money? So it's interesting. There's a ton of money there. There is a ton of cash. For me, I don't know if this is going to draw the superstars. Tiger Woods has said his allegiance and his commitment is to the PGA. His stardom and his fame, the reason that he is who he is because of the PGA, and he won't waver from that. Kev, before you froze up, and you might be frozen again, you said that Royal McIlroy, he was basically in the same boat. And there's been a number of players that basically have said, "No, I probably won't go over," especially the top end guys. With having so much, when you make a shit ton of money through the PGA, do you really want to give that up? What you've built your career on to go for a few extra dollars? Rory said that he's had the same house for the last 10 years or something to that effect, or probably longer. He said he still uses the same 4 rooms in his house. So a couple extra $1 million isn't going to change things for him. Now, he's a high-end player. He's a high-end moneymaker. There's other guys, obviously, that aren't as high in the money making, and that would say, hey, you know what? I could really use a $15 million guaranteed payday plus all the purses if you were to win the tournament.
I mean, I think that when this league happens, you're going to get a lot of players that don't make a lot of money in the PGA go to it to make that money. And it's going to be like a minor league almost kind of thing like that.
Right. That's the next question. So if the superstars are staying in the PGA, what kind of quality players are you getting in the Saudi tour?
It's going to fail if that happens. They need, nobody's going to watch to see a minor league.
No.
They need for this to succeed, They need to get the big fish to come, and then the rest of the players will come also.
Yeah.
Not if it's with
Here's the
dirty
thing, though,
money.
guys. I don't know if they'd be able to play in this one as well as the regular PGA. I mean, they either got to pick.
I don't know if they're
one,
actually
don't
going to.
Oh, I bet you the PGA would squash that. It's one or
I
the
think
other.
you'd have to have a contract with one or the other. I would assume. No,
I don't know.
Well, like, I would think that the PGA would put something in there that they would have to, like. Well, I guess you can just pick and choose the tournaments that you're going to be in as long as you make the
Yeah.
cut, right?
Yeah, I mean, maybe there's room for both. Why not? But I don't
Maybe
think.
it's just people that are going to be like vacationing on that side of the world, and they'll be like, "Hey, let's make some money."
But yeah, but then nobody will watch.
That, well, like you said, that would be the thing that needs to survive here. And I understand what you're saying. Like when I was saying, like a minor league, that you need eyeballs on it, but maybe you'll get more eyeballs on the other side of the world because it's more of a local game then.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know how big golf is in Saudi Arabia.
Couldn't tell you, man. I've never been there.
Well, what the fuck?
All right.
Neither have I.
So, okay, here's what I found about Mickelson. He had a quote that said, "There in response to playing in the Saudi tour and having it funded by the Saudis here, it says they're scary motherfuckers to get involved with. We know they killed a journalist and have a horrible record on human rights. They execute people over there for being gay. Knowing all this, why would I even consider it? Because it's a once in a lifetime opportunity to reshape how the PGA Tour operates." So he is, to me, that's saying that he would be interested in there because he is real pissy about the PGA, Mickelson, right now because of the media rights. And so he's been very strong on the media rights. He wants more. He basically wants more money from the PGA, and it's saying all the players should be, because they're just using their likeness to promote all these tours, all these rounds or tournaments, and the players don't see any of that cash. So basically the PGA is essentially taking advantage without paying them. Back in the day, they tried to get a union together, PGA PA type thing, and they probably should have got it there, because then they, back in the day, because now things like this would have been just a quick vote, and the Players Association would say, sorry, PGA, we're not playing until we get some more media rights. And, it'd be the same type of thing with baseball and all these other sports that you potentially have lockouts and whatnot. But obviously that didn't happen. There is no union in the PGA. But it's definitely interesting. I don't know if you guys want to find a little bit more on Mickelson there, because I'm pretty sure that he said he would be interested in playing.
As you guys are still looking that up, I don't know if I know I've always been bouncing in and out. I don't know what's going on with my interwebs, but I do know also with this new tour that there's not going to be any cuts. Everybody's being able to play to the whole entire four-day round.
Yeah,
there's no cuts at all, which I think is pretty good. I mean, because you're not going to get money unless you're up top, and I mean, you can see some miraculous games that guys can come back from a minus and get back in, or from the pluses and get back into a minus. I mean, I like that aspect and being cut.
Yeah, I think they said it was going to be a 40-player field, and all 40 would be able to play the whole tournament. 15 tournaments was my understanding, what I read. 10 would likely be within the US.
Yeah, and I believe that Donald Trump's offering up his golf courses for them to do so.
Oh, that's interesting.
I did see that too. Yeah. So yeah, I see that Phil Mickelson says he is willing to get involved with Saudi finance breakaway golf league to have leverage with PGA Tour.
So again, so it seems like he was only willing to do it because he's trying to get back type thing at the PGA, because he is real pissy about the PGA right now. So,
well, he can only afford 4 Lamborghinis, and he wants 5.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it sounds like a leverage play, but as of right now, he supports it. To what I'm seeing here.
Sorry, Kev. I think Josh took that one on you.
So do you guys do you think this is going to happen soon? Like, do you think this will actually form? Like, Pete, I know you said that it's not going to be successful unless they can get some of the top end guys, so that you can drag everybody else there and the media and get the viewers. But do you think this will actually happen?
I'm gonna say it won't, based on nothing.
Hot take. I don't know. I think it will happen. I think they will push forward with it. I don't think it's going to be a success, like you said, Pete, unless they can get some top end names. And I know that the top end names right now are kind of the older guys, like Tiger. He's getting up there. Phil. I did hear that Bryson was interested in playing as well, so that's a pretty big name. But there's a lot of other big names that said no dice, like Koepka, which maybe that's good for the two of them. Stay away from each other, but. Colin Morikawa, he said no dice. He said he always, he dreamed of being a PGA pro. And so he's here now. Why would he go elsewhere? Like, the PGA is the pinnacle of golf.
Well, and it's like it has something that Saudi Tour can never have. It has the history.
Right.
It has it's the tour. It has been for however long it's been around, 100 years, say. I don't fucking know. But it's got that history, and that's something that the Saudi Tour can never replicate.
To me, this is like the XFL kind of deal. They'll maybe get a year out of it, 2 years out of it, but I don't see it lasting.
So we all think it's gonna happen, but it won't last long.
Yeah, pretty well. That's what I figure.
Yeah,
I completely agree with Kev here. I think it's gonna be like the XFL. It's gonna show up, not get. And Peter, you're right. Not enough viewership, but we don't know what the viewership is on the other side of the world. But we'll see.
And I also say to those guys that they're not going to merge. You're either going to play for the Saudi, or you're going to play for the PGA. That's the only ones. That's the only ones you have an option with. You're not going to be able to bounce between both.
That's what I think too.
Pick and choose.
Yeah, I think the PGA will say if you play in the Saudi Tour, you are ineligible to play in a PGA Tour event. That's what I think for sure. I agree with that 100%. Because why would they want to give up? They've got a tournament on every weekend. The PGA does pretty well, right? So why do they want to give up all these superstars? Yeah. Oh shit, Tiger's not playing in this tournament, although it might not be a big tournament in the US. He's over in Saudi. No, their PGA is going to say no, that's not happening. So
yeah.
All right, well, we're all on the same page there, I think. And we're definitely all on the same page for our MVP, which is coming up next.
This week's MVP is got to go down in the books as a classic. It's got to.
Shout.
It is Buffalo Bills wide receiver Stephon Diggs.
Wait, they didn't even play this week. How is he the MVP?
The team might not have played, but he did. So Stephon Diggs, allegedly, although I'm pretty sure it's true, had two different women in two different hotel rooms in the same hotel on Valentine's Day. So the Instagram is hard to follow on this, but everything seems to match up. The girls have been linked to him. They both put the hotel on their Instagram stories on Valentine's Day. One of the women, LaShante Heckard, is his regular girlfriend, while the other, Alicia Renee, is new to Diggs' roster. Both women took to social media to show off their Valentine's Day gifts from Diggs. So he had both women in the hotel, two different rooms. I got to read this quote from Barstool Sports because it's hilarious. It says, "Personally, this seems exhausting. Was he running back and forth between the two rooms all night? Couple pumps here. Sorry, babe. Gotta run out and take this phone call. Couple pumps there. Or did he block off a couple hours for each girl, make them feel special? I'd love to know more details of this absolute kingly move.
MVP move.
MVP for sure. So Stefan Diggs for having two girls in the same hotel on Valentine's Day. An MVP move, if there ever was one.
Did you ever wish you could do that, Pete? You're like, yeah, this is my. I wish I could do that.
No, darling, if you're listening, no,
They're not
no,
listening. Fuck, you think our fiancés and wives listen to this
no,
shit?
no. I would never want to do that.
Oh, did you forget
So,
to pay your
Stefan
fucking
Diggs.
internet bill?
Yeah, man.
Oh, am I skipping too?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You're like a fucking DJ with a remix. Wicka, wicka.
A bad
All
one.
right. So Stefan Diggs, our MVP for the week for an absolute clutch game on Valentine's
Hey,
Day.
he didn't miss any passes in that game.
No, absolutely not. So cheers, boys, to Stefan Diggs.
Cheers.
Cheers, Diggsy. Way to not drop the ball.
That's a tough play call too.
Yeah, man.
Agree.
Which one gets to play action first, right?
Oh, there's so many innuendos we could use.
Yeah.
But-
Sometimes you just gotta post up and give her, right? That's not even a home run, man. That's a grand slam show. All right, I
It's,
think I'm done
it's
now.
at least a double. It's at least
Yeah,
a
at least a double, yeah.
Ground rule double.
But so let's roll into some actual football that happened. Jesse, why don't you let us know how Super Bowl 56 went?
Wow. Super Bowl 56 went pretty good.
You know what? I'm gonna mute Jesse here.
Boys. Called it from the start
That's true.
over a year ago when the trade for Stafford that the Rams are going to win the Super Bowl. And they won the Super Bowl.
Jesse's had a hard on for the last year, just so you guys know. Like
Yeah,
a full year, he's had a fucking rager.
No Viagra, no nothing. Just
Matt Stafford.
Yeah, just Stafford and best wide receiver in the league, Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
Yeah, he caught a 1-yard touchdown pass with 1:25 left to go in the fourth quarter on the game-winning drive, which was 15 plays, being the longest fourth quarter go-ahead touchdown drive by number of plays in Super Bowl history.
This
And
is
the
going to be
bang-
a terrible segment. I can
Oh,
tell
this is
already.
gonna be a great segment because I am gonna be insufferable.
You can tell just by the tone of his voice.
Yeah.
This is going to be awful.
Man,
Carry
I've been
on, Jesse,
smiling
carry
ear to
on.
ear for a week, man. It's just so pumped, so happy. I wanted this matchup, called it in the championship, and it worked out perfectly. Didn't go the way I thought it was going to go, but still, the Bengals had a chance at the end of the game. Couple timeouts, enough time on the clock, and Aaron Donald got to Burrow, and he threw up a duck to Pirine. Well, he was kind of spinning, so it would have probably been a sack any other time, depending on the play of the game or the time of the game. But it went incomplete, and the Rams won.
Donald
Turnover on
made a
downs.
he made a hell of a play too. Donald on the 3rd and 1 to stop P. Ryan. He pulled him back.
Well, it was
That
also
was-
Greg Gaines was in that too, but he hit Greg Gaines to slow him down, and then Donald just used that strength. I don't know if you guys saw the parade. That guy is jacked. Went shirtless
Yeah.
through that parade in LA. And
That's
just
why
yanked
Jesse
that.
still has that fucking rager.
Just want to throw
Hey,
out
man.
there too. Donald was totally offside on that 4th and 1 play.
Oh, there was many
Challenge.
issues.
That was not the right play. You're looking at fake news, man. He was not that. 100%. He was.
Uh-oh.
It was a different play that you're reading on fucking Twitter and all that garbage fake news media you're reading.
That's all I read, buddy. That's all.
I don't know.
There was
If we
definitely a lot
want
of
to challenge that, we can.
controversy.
Like I said, like it's not true at all. He was completely onside. The one that you're reading was from a different play. It wasn't the fourth one, down and one.
Was it the same Super Bowl? Is it what you're getting at?
It was the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But it wasn't that play
How do you know that?
because I watched the fucking game like 8 times and the highlights.
So your fake news is telling you that he was onside, even though he was offside on the fourth one play. All right.
No, man, it was a different location.
Yeah, you're right. Jesse's right.
Yeah.
It was a 4th and 1,
Mhm.
but it was earlier in the game. It was in the first drive of the game.
Yeah.
It was in the first drive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the one I was talking about. What
Gotta
what-
check
Oh,
your,
yeah.
gotta check your research.
-1 for Pete.
Well, like I said, he got to him. Just fucking manhandled that guard. And boys, literally, like Donald hadn't done anything until the second half until he pushed Burrow out of bounds, which was a clean hit,
Yep.
100% clean hit. He was like a yard and a bit outside the out of bounds box, and the Bengals players decided to get into his face. And I'm shocked that AD didn't choke anyone out. Because he knew that the Super Bowl was on the line.
Bring his inner
I see,
stompy
I see what you did there.
That was funny. That was the thing Kevin said. He's like, did he choke anyone? But anyways, yeah, it lit a fire under him.
Him and Poke the Bear.
Oh yeah, did it ever? And that was right after the Stafford interception in the second half, and Donald came away with 2 sacks in that, and then that huge pressure at the end. And the Rams sacked them 7 times, so not my 10 that I had thought it was going to be, because Burrow was getting the ball out early in the first half because he only got sacked once, but he got sacked 6 times in the second half. And it also makes that in the Super Bowl 7-0 time for the Rams, or it has also made teams perfect 7-0 when collecting 6 sacks or more in the Super Bowl. And they tied the record for sacks in the Super Bowl with 7. McVay wins the youngest coach ever to win a Super Bowl at 36 years old in 20 days. And on the other side, offensive lineman Andrew Whitworth set a record for the oldest lineman in the Super Bowl at 40 years and 63 days. You know what another record they set? Well, it wasn't setting a record. It was coming in second, finishing with 43 yards.
I don't want to know. No.
43 yards as a team. And it's the second fewest rushing yards ever in a Super Bowl. And Peter, please explain to us who is the first with the least amount of rushing yards in a Super Bowl and winning it.
I have no idea, but I'm going to assume it's the fucking Rams again against the Titans. I don't know.
Yeah. With 29.
You fucker.
So, it was a big game. It was a good game. Rams lost a lot of guys. They were playing with fucking not like they had a lot of superstars to begin with, but Odell Beckham went down early. And then they were playing with like 6-string receivers and 4th-string tight ends. Like it was
A lot of torn pec.
Weddle, yeah, that was crazy. That happened early on too. He was only able to tackle with one shoulder.
Yeah.
That was wild, and he stayed in the game, but he wanted that ring. So my question to you guys, first one at least, is: do you think the Rams can do this next year? They are over the cap right now, but I think Whitworth is going to retire,
Oh yeah.
and with restructuring and extensions, they can probably free up $60 million in cap space. So a couple guys that are free agents: Von Miller, big one; Odell, huge one; Darius Williams, who's the second cornerback; Austin Corbett, who's the starting guard; Sony Michel, who we didn't see much in the Super Bowl, but had quite the year with the Rams; Brian Allen, starting center; Dante Dion, their nickel; Joseph Nopu, who was the guy that was replacing Andrew Whitworth when he was hurt on the left tackle side. Matt Gay, the kicker, and Sebastian Joseph Day, who started the season and then got hurt midway through the season at DT right beside Donald. Those are the big names. Do you guys think that the Rams can do back to back?
Nope.
No. They probably have a good opportunity to go far into the playoffs again. Obviously, I think the big one to help free up AD a bit so that there is more pressure is Von Miller. I think they need to re-sign him. That would allow, offensive lines can't just straight up double Donald then, right? Because you got Floyd, you've got Von Miller, and you've got AD. There's no way you can double a guy. You just, and if you do, you leave somebody else open. So in that sense, I loved watching Odell take catches from Stafford. They look good together. And Odell, obviously, before blew out his knee again.
Same knee.
Same knee.
It really looked like he was turning a corner again, back to the old New York Giants Odell. So those two, although the wide receiver, re-signing Odell isn't necessary or as necessary as Von Miller is.
They got Woods and Jefferson coming back.
Exactly.
Now Woods is off an ACL, so we'll back him. But
yeah.
But do you get Donald back if you don't get Odell back?
Good question. Good question.
You think that Donald would say no if just because they don't re-sign Beckham?
That's what he said.
He wants a super team again to do it, but I don't know. It'd be tough to. If they bring Vaughn, he's definitely he is more likely to come back unless they just did Beckham and not Vaughn, because AD wants his single team whenever he once in a while gets them, like on the last play.
Like the rest of these guys, like sure they might be starters, but they're not the big names, and you could likely fill some of these spots with other free agents that may be cheaper or what have you. But I think Odell and Vaughn are big. Vaughn for sure is that's the guy.
He's the biggest to me too. Yeah. That's why I have him at the front.
Yeah. So they might be able to make it back to the Super Bowl, but it's going to depend on the moves too. Like the moves elsewhere. Like if, let's say, Aaron Rodgers goes somewhere else in the NFC, right? Well, no, I'm saying in the NFC, like that's
Tennessee.
Anywhere that he goes is automatically is maybe not a Super Bowl contender, but they're a playoff contender. And I mean, obviously he's in the NFC now, so even if he stays with Green Bay, but I don't think they're going to win it next year. I think the Buffalo Bills have got this wrapped up in the bag already next year. Calling it now, boys.
Call it now?
Past the Chiefs.
Wow.
Don't worry about the Chiefs, man. Don't worry about the Chiefs. But I think they can do very well. I'll say that they could make the Super Bowl, but it's not likely.
Yeah, so I think I'm the same. They have to, in my mind, they have to bring back Miller and Odell, and obviously Donald. Not retiring. And if they do, I think they can win another Super Bowl. I don't think they will. I think the AFC is really strong, and a team out of the AFC is probably going to take it next year. I don't know which one. Tennessee.
Buffalo Bills.
So I don't think they're going to win next year, but I think they can if they bring back their super team. But I don't think they will.
I don't see it happening either. No, I mean, he's got his ring.
And like this year was the stars aligned this year. They're playing at home. It's they brought in all these guys, Von Miller and Eric Weddle, all these guys that are after the ring. And
whoa, anyone could have brought in Weddle in.
Yeah, but it's. I think the stars aligned this year for LA.
We were playing with a guy that was off the couch, retirement, and a 7th round safety back there.
What I like about it though, man, is
it's how good the rest of your team is, huh? Other than AD, garbage.
Garbage.
Not
Back
a chance,
to back.
man.
back-to-back home teams winning it. That's what's pretty decent. I think
That is
that's
pretty cool.
fucking awesome.
Yeah.
You know, I heard how they're going to prevent that from happening again.
Every
Every Super Bowl is going to be in Dallas. Every Super Bowl is in Dallas from now on. Then you never have a home team winning again.
I mean,
Oh, that's pretty funny.
that is pretty funny. All right, so it'll be tough to win back to back. It hasn't been done since the Patriots did it. Like, I think it was the 21 season and 2001 season and 2002 season was when they did the back to back was the last one. Obviously, last year, Chiefs got back to the Super Bowl and got destroyed by the defense. The defense, I think, really won this game for the Rams to begin with. And my big thing is I think you got to bring Vaughn back for sure. I would really like Odell. He might even take a pay cut because
No way.
Why
I
not?
guarantee you Odell does not take a pay cut just because of who he is.
Why? I think he will.
For another ring?
He
Why not?
will take
I
another
don't
ring.
think so.
He lives in LA. And this ACL is going to scare a lot of people off.
No way, man. He's Odell. He's going to get paid.
Anyone could have paid him, and he made like I think $3 million in when they won the Super Bowl in incentives.
He got a bunch of incentive
Yeah.
money.
So
for sure.
so
He might have so he might have another contract like that. It's
Exactly.
sort of incentive laden. I'll give you that.
I think that's exactly what it will, and I think he might take a hometown discount just to maybe it's even a 1-year deal. It's not even like a multi-year deal.
Yeah.
Just a 1-year deal just to run it back. And the only other guy I really think the Rams need, like there's 3 offensive linemen there, so their offensive line is going to be they got to replace that this coming draft and offseason. But I think you got to bring back Joseph Nobu. What he's shown is he's pretty good, and I'd rather not try and grab a left tackle in the offseason because I think everyone's going to be looking for a left tackle. And center, they might have one that they can find. It's tough. Maybe they can get like an old one because I think the Jensen from the Bucks is going to be a free agent. So maybe they get him and he wants to win another Super Bowl. But I think you got to really look at the line. It is huge here for the Rams to make a repeat. Do they get it? I think they'll get to the Super Bowl depending on where Aaron Rodgers goes. If they get these guys winning it, like I said, it's not easy.
Even Jesse is saying the Buffalo Bills are going to win.
Yeah, so it's definitely not the right.
I didn't say. I
That's
said
what
it's
I
not going to
heard.
be.
That's what I heard.
Putting words in your mouth.
But like I said, man, like last year, I called it when they traded Stafford that they were going to win the Super Bowl. So I'm going to say they run it back.
Yes, Jesse, that's what you said.
Hey, just
Yes,
remember that
yes,
I called the
Jesse.
Buffalo Bills for the next one on the
Yeah.
same day that we gave Diggsy the MVP for banging 2 chicks on Valentine's Day.
Well, that's what the thing is. Then you gotta fucking just be the stupid, confident goof I was this year, and it happens.
All
Throw
right.
one out there too. Then whoever AA round goes to, if he stays with the Green Bay Packers, I'm not picking the Packers. But if he moves, that's your winner.
Oh fuck, you're fucked. No way, man. Where is he gonna go? That is a better team.
Tennessee.
Maybe Tennessee. That would be a better team.
Maybe Denver.
You think Denver is a better team, excluding quarterbacks, like because it's same quarterback? You think Denver's better than Green Bay right now, with the 2021 team? That
With
means
their
Devontae Adams.
their defense and Nathaniel Hackett, who was hired there, was the
Wow.
OC from Green Bay, so you might want to travel with him.
No, I get
That
but-
would be my pick. Tennessee's defense probably better, and he's also got AJ Brown. I don't know if Julio's a free agent or not. I don't remember, but he's been hurt anyways. So
See, I think like I said before, that no matter where Rodgers goes or if he stays, they're going to be a playoff team, but not a Super Bowl team. No matter where he goes.
he's only been
Well,
to
you
one,
can-
and he's lost a lot of championships. So.
You can take your Buffalo. Like I
I'm
said,
going
if,
to.
if AA round stays with Green Bay, I'm gonna have to really think about it. But wherever he goes, there's your chance.
He's gonna go to the fucking Jets, and Kev's gonna fucking eat his words. Be like, "Fuck, it's the Jets."
He won't go to this place.
No,
where
he's not gonna go to a place that's rebuilding where he's gonna lose for sure. So,
All right. So a different quarterback that is looking at an HOF
just calm down.
now
Just
is
relax.
Stafford.
Nah, whatever.
Whatever. This guy has the same amount of Super Bowls as Rodgers, Breeze. He has a really shitty playoff record, but it's his first time being to the playoffs without being on Detroit, and he won the thing.
Okay.
He's almost at 50,000 passing yards, 12th all time right now, and he's got the fastest quarterback to pass key milestones in 2,000 yards at 71 games, 30,000 yards at 109, 40,000 yards at 147 games, and he's number 11 in completions at 4,302, right behind Rodgers. He is 12th with 323 TD passes. Like, he is dominant, man. And I'm going to say this right now. He might be the most clutch quarterback in the NFL now that Brady's gone.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's a stretch, man.
Well, let me just tell you here, boys. So he has the most fourth quarter comebacks in one single season at 8 ever. And he's got 34 for his career, which is 5th all time and only 6 behind Brady.
That's because he was on the Lions and they were always losing.
Always behind. Yeah, exactly.
Yep, that
doesn't mean
but
you're clutch.
it's still
that
a
just
clutch.
means you're on a shitty team.
Yeah, man.
All right. So, boys, during this playoffs, he got 3 game-winning drives, and he got 2 come from behind victories in the fourth quarter. With Tampa, he threw that huge pass to Cup and got him in field goal range at the end of the game to kick the winning field goal after a fucking 4 fumble frenzy, which was the craziest thing I've ever seen. And then against San Fran, got them in range, another big Cup reception to get them in range for field goal, and then throwing the TD pass to Cup.
Is he more clutch than Patrick Mahomes?
Yeah,
No.
it all time, yeah.
Okay. Let's look at it from if the Rams did not win the Super Bowl, would we be talking about this?
No.
You're right.
But they did. But they did.
But they did. That's fair.
You got to give credit where credit's due.
So does a Super Bowl mean that you pretty much automatically get into the Hall of Fame as a quarterback, at least?
No.
No.
The Flacco
Okay.
problem. Like, who knows if Flacco will get in, right?
He shouldn't. He's fucking useless. And his name is Flanco. Jesse,
Okay,
come
but-
Oh
on.
yeah, Flacco. Sorry, yeah.
Wanko, Joe Blanco. So we're talking about 2 different things, though, because I'm sort of on the same page with Jesse on one, but not on the other. I don't think he's the clutchest quarterback in the league right now. Not at all. But I do think he's a Hall of Famer. He has put up the stats, albeit most of his career on a losing team, but that's not entirely his fault. He's put up the numbers, and now he has the championship once he went to a decent team. So I think he does make the Hall of Fame.
Okay, so here's my argument just about this Super Bowl even. Matt Stafford was this close from not even making the Super Bowl if Kev's boy would have made a fucking interception.
Come on,
There
Kev.
was 9 minutes left in the game, and they were only down by 3.
It also would have given me a fucking point too.
That would have given you a point.
But it
someone's got butter.
It doesn't matter what might have happened, though.
Yeah, exactly.
He did win a Super Bowl, and he's got the numbers.
What if Sir?
All right, so let me pull this up as my rebuttal and my argument, and I'm going to use a little bit of Richard Sherman here. Now, I do not like Richard Sherman. Let's everybody be clear on that. I think he's a fucking idiot. He's a great football player, but he's a goof. But he did say that he was going to talk about this on a podcast, but he now he's like, the Hall of Fame is like a participant trophy. Basically, he's like, Stafford is not on his no all-decade team, no all-pro, no MVP. He's only been to one Pro Bowl. He wasn't the MVP of the Super Bowl, and he's never been considered the best in any year that he played. And then he said a little fucking dig at Kev here. He must know Kev. He's like, even Matt Ryan has an MVP.
But he doesn't have a Super Bowl.
But he said he goes
And
on
he
to say
blew the biggest lead in the Super Bowl.
he goes on to say he did nothing spectacular. It's really a microcosm of his career. He did good, not great, made a few wow passes, made a few face palm passes.
Yeah.
And he said that AD and Vaughn are the 2 Hall of Famers that Stafford should thank. So, like I said, I don't always agree with Richard Sherman. He is a goof, but when, like, I get it. He was in Detroit. Shit, I get it. But if you were good enough, then you should have been more Pro Bowls than one. Did he get the Pro Bowl this year? Is that when he got his one Pro Bowl?
No, he got it.
Okay.
It was before that. And to be honest, the Pro Bowl is a popularity contest. It's by the fans. So it's
I'm not too concerned
to me,
about the Pro Bowl,
like,
but
the All Pro is what matters. He hasn't been one. He didn't even get one when he got his 5,000 yard season in 16 games.
And that's
at that
that's
point.
what Sherman's saying.
Well, again, like those are writers at that time too. So they got to be, but they're also
Writers put you into the Hall of Fame too, though, right?
You're right. But you have to also understand is he didn't get that. And at the time when he did get that 5,000 yard season, there was only 4 at that time. And he didn't get the Pro Bowl that year.
So I don't think it's right to punish Stafford for living in an era with all kinds of elite quarterbacks. Like,
But if he's an elite quarterback, then it shouldn't matter. He should have been right up.
It does.
Don't get me wrong.
Matter,
He is up there
so
in terms of all time numbers. He's got a lot of passing yards and he's up there. So he's obviously did something right. You know, I think he probably eventually will make the Hall of Fame, but it's not going to be right away. He's not going to be first ballot unless he continues to win Super Bowls with the Rams or whoever he ends up playing with. But he needs to do a lot more to be that first ballot. I think he's one of those guys that might make it near the end of his time on the ballot type thing. That's my opinion.
I can understand about the first ballot, but I don't think it'll be the end. He is on pace to smash the record, or not smash, but beat the record for most passing yards that Brady had put out there.
Yeah, I mean, and it depends how long he plays for, obviously.
Yeah,
But
he's got to play into his 40s to do that. But
He's gonna finish his career probably in the top 10 in a lot of key passing categories, plus a Super Bowl win. He's a Hall of Famer. That's all there is to it, in my opinion.
Also, I'm going to throw out, because Peter doesn't agree with the most clutch, he's got more postseason game-winning drives than Aaron Rodgers. And he's been to the playoffs 4 times, and Rodgers has been there. I don't know, but it's in the double digits.
I guess he's not very clutch.
Yes.
Rodgers isn't.
Yeah,
Rodgers
that's what I
isn't.
mean. That's what I'm talking about.
But I'm just saying, like, everyone knows that he's going to the Hall of Fame, and he's kind of got a clutch performance around him too. But in the postseason, it's not there, and that's where the clutch comes in.
That's fair, I guess.
Anyways, we've been talking about Stafford for a while, so we're just going to quickly go on to Super Cooper.
I prefer 2 girls, 1 cup.
No, I like this new one. Super Cooper is better.
Nah, that's dumb.
So I think he had the best wide receiver season ever. He had, including the season and postseason, 178 catches, 2,425 yards, and 22 touchdowns. He's the first player in NFL history with more than 2,000 receiving yards in a season, blowing by the previous record of 1,977 set by Fitzgerald. His 178 receptions are also the NFL record for the regular season and postseason combined, beating Michael Thomas, who had 56. And then Cup tallied 33 receptions, which is a record in the postseason. And he's only second in 478 yards to Fitzgerald in postseason. And the only record he really didn't beat this season was Moss, who had 24 touchdowns with the Patriots in this season and postseason combined. And that happened in that 2007 season where the Patriots almost had a perfect season. So what he accomplished in this season, which Jerry Rice took a career to do, was receiving the Triple Crown, Pro Bowl, which is, like I said, popularity contest, first team All-Pro, Offensive Player of the Year, and Super Bowl MVP, which Kev got his bold prediction right on. So, was this the best wide receiver season ever?
Probably.
Hey man,
Yeah,
Triple Crown
that's
in one
exactly what I was
season.
gonna say.
I mean,
Probably.
I mean,
You guys are
even if
not
you
excited.
No.
No.
Even if you take out the extra regular season game, he still destroys the fucking record for yards, and for receptions. So yeah, I think it has to be. You know, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I'd much rather say that Jerry Rice has still got the best receiving season of all time, but or Fitz. I'd rather say either of them. Fuck, I'd say fucking Devin Hester before I'd want to say.
And is this just in spite?
Obviously, Hester has not got the stats, but I'd rather say that.
Is it just in spite because I'm a Rams fan?
100%. 100%. Yeah. 100%. No, he was really good this
Got
year.
that on the record.
Like, what did he? Was there only one game this year that he didn't get 90 yards?
There's two.
2 games.
There's
So
two.
like
Garbage.
That and one in regular season, and the second was the first postseason game where they were dominating the Cardinals. Both actually happened against the Cardinals.
Sure. Big time choker.
So much hate.
yeah, well, we're gonna have to listen to this shit for a fucking year. So
Yeah, exactly.
no, I think it probably is the best receiving season of all time. He did very well. He did very well, and there's no chance that he would have did this with Jared Goff. So
Agreed. That's
No
why I was so
fucking
pumped
chance.
about that trade.
You trying to say he needed a Hall of Fame quarterback?
I'm trying to say he needed a better quarterback than fucking
Yes,
Jared fucking Goff.
Yes.
You're welcome, Jesse. You're welcome. That's all you're gonna get out of it.
Oh, fuck.
All right. So I think everyone agrees on that. We'll roll on to the other league, which
Sucks
already
dick.
Yosh already talked about.
After I just threw you a bone,
I didn't say it.
this is what I get in return. All right.
Hey, Jesse's already had a fucking bone for long enough, man.
No, he's
It's
had a
time to
full-
calm down.
Full fucking year.
It's
and
not gonna
another
calm
year
down.
coming. Don't stand near that boy. Then you won't be comfortable.
For sure.
Yes. So I am going to talk about some NHL trades.
Boo.
Okay. First of all, the big trade of the week: Tyler Toffoli to Calgary for a first-round pick in 2022, top 10 protected, a 2024 fifth, and Tyler Pitlick and Emil Heineman going back to Montreal.
Who?
He's a prospect. So
I mean, I'm talking
Toffoli's
about
got-
all 3 names you're talking about. Who?
you don't know Tyler Toffoli.
I know Toffoli. I'm just being a douche.
So Toffoli's cap hit is $4.25 million, and he signed for this season plus 2 more, which is a very reasonable contract for what he is. He's got 9 goals and 26 points through 37 games on the garbage heads this season. He did manage to score in his first game with the Calgary Flames.
I saw that. That's pretty cool when you do that.
So going back the other way, Pitlick is an average fourth liner making $1.75 million on an expiring deal. So he was a piece in this trade for salary reasons. I think he's not a major piece here. Heineman was a second-round pick in 2020, and from all reports was a key piece in this trade from the Habs' perspective. So they really wanted this prospect. And they also obviously got the first and fifth round picks. So basically it's Montreal getting a first round pick, a former second round pick, and a fifth round pick for Tyler Toffoli. So who do you guys think won this trade?
I go with Montreal.
Tough one for sure, just because of the picks, right?
Yeah. They'll even get more when Price leaves.
I mean,
Bryce
so
Harper leave.
26 points in 37 games. So what is that, like a 0.75 point per game type guy?
It's not great, but keep in mind he's on the fucking salty garbage
Right,
tabs.
for sure. You know, getting a first, a former second. What was where was Toffoli drafted when he was drafted? Like, is he top end first rounder?
No, I want to say he was a second rounder also. That's a long time ago.
I mean, so I guess it's going to depend on the first round pick. That's really what it's going to come down to.
I mean, yeah, in the first rounder, it's the Calgary is good, so it's gonna be a late round pick.
Right.
So it's a late round first, a former second, and a fifth. So in my mind, I think both teams did well in this trade. Like Montreal is doing what Montreal should do because they're garbage, is collecting futures.
Yeah, tank for sure.
And Calgary is they're right on the brink. So they're ninth overall in the total league, but they're first in their division and they're second in their conference. So they're on the weak side of this league in the West, and they're loading up because really the main competition you got to get through on that side is Colorado. Outside of that, there's not a whole lot of real competition. The Minnesota Wild are pretty good, but there's no clear-cut contenders over there other than Colorado. So I think it makes sense from the Flames' perspective to load up this year and try and go for it. Because they may not play Colorado until the conference finals. And at that point, anything can happen. Then you're in the Stanley Cup final. Anything can happen again. So the question I have for you, given that the West is as weak as it is, do you think this makes them serious cup contenders?
Calgary's scary.
I mean, they just
Yeah.
added a Stanley Cup champion, so
That's true.
that helps in the postseason a ton. So
Sure, experience is huge.
Yeah.
So
And he's a decent playoff performer too. Like he wasn't huge in I'm thinking of the Leaf series against Montreal, but he was there. And he, like you said, he's got that championship pedigree, and he has what Calgary probably needs. He's got the goal scoring touch because they play a good defensive physical scheme in Calgary. You saw that if you watched the game they played with the Leafs recently. They played a playoff style, and the Leafs could not keep up with it.
Well, of course,
Well,
they were
yeah.
pretending it was the first round. So.
Hey,
It was a playoff game. What do you expect?
Hey,
Okay, so I'm gonna say that this trade is pretty even. It's gonna go along the same lines as the Brooklyn Nets 76ers trade, where the Sixers get better now, but the Nets are better later. I think it's probably going to be the same type of thing. Toffoli makes Calgary better now, but that potential first round pick, if they can, I know it's a later round pick, but maybe they pull something out of their ass and get a pretty good fucking player out of it, then potentially, and with Heineman, who's still a young guy too, if he's a second round pick, he's probably half decent, or at least he's projected to be half decent from his prospect status. So I think overall it's probably a fairly even trade. Obviously, that's why they made the trade, because you typically aren't going to make a trade where it's bad for your team, unless you're just a fucking idiot GM and can't figure shit out.
Google Peter Chiarelli.
Fair enough.
For,
Okay.
for examples, yes.
Okay.
Carry on.
Or Ryan Pace for trading.
Yeah, fucking right. That one definitely. Fuck. Do I think this makes them serious cup contenders? I'll say it makes them cup contenders. It doesn't make them serious. They are, let's say, top.
Would you be surprised if they were in the Stanley Cup final?
I don't know.
I would be, because I don't think they can get through Colorado. So, but they could face Colorado in the championship, like in the East Championship. So,
West,
West.
or sorry, West. You should challenge me, motherfuckers. But you didn't.
yeah, we'll be gentle.
All right, thanks,
okay.
guys.
There's
Appreciate
already
it.
been challenges, so I don't see any more is going to happen.
I don't like hockey, so that's why I figured it out, or I can't figure it out. Anyway, so I think that makes them cup contenders, but I don't think they're going to get through Colorado. I think you're going to see Colorado in the finals against. I don't know. I don't know who else. Probably not the Leafs, but.
Why the fuck not?
I mean, I hope.
Who did everyone pick for? Didn't you pick for the Leafs there, Yosh? Or
Yeah.
I might have actually.
I took
got so
Colorado.
much shade on it.
Oh, fuck.
So okay, but so to be fair, the Colorado Avalanche play a very similar style as the Leafs. Now they're not as cursed as the Leafs, but it's a similar style, and it may there may be some serious doubt going into a series between the Flames and the Avalanche, because the Flames play that physical playoff style under Sutter. They're built for the playoffs, it seems, and you never know what might happen there. The Avalanche definitely outskilled them 100% all day long, but that may not be enough to win a playoff series.
I mean, I think they have a chance of making the Stanley Cup again. Like, the East is crowded with talent and playoff experience. I would say that they have a chance making it, but who knows about winning it. And it's a Canadian team, so I'm definitely going to be happy if they get there. Hopefully, one of these times when a Canadian team gets there, someone will win it, even if the Leafs get there. As much shade as I throw on there, hey man, I'm feeling generous. The Rams won the Super Bowl, and however many years it's been for you guys, like,
I never thought I would hear just
this is
speak these
embarrassing.
words.
This is embarrassing for, like, you guys got to get there.
Wow.
Any Canadian team, like, I just want.
We're recording this, right?
Yeah. Hey man, I was also pretty happy when Montreal got there last year, right? So
Yeah. So another player from the Habs that's been rumored in trade talks is defenseman Ben Sherratt. And the price apparently for this defenseman is a first-round pick. And I'm extremely glad that although the Leafs were reported to be among the teams interested in this player, it's very much not likely to happen anymore because they made another trade, which we'll get to in just a second. But I do not want Ben Sherratt anywhere near the Maple Leafs. I pulled up a chart from shout out to Jay Fresh Hockey on Twitter, where Ben Sherratt's projected WAR percentage, which is wins above replacement, is 0. That means you could literally go to free agency and sign someone that no team actually wants at all right now, and it would be equal to this player. And apparently teams are willing to pay a first-round pick for him. I'm extremely glad that didn't happen, and it's not going to happen, at least not to the Leafs. Some other team can pay that dumb price. That's fine. I'm glad the Leafs didn't. Because the Leafs made a separate trade. They traded Nick Ritchie plus a conditional second-round pick, which is either a second-rounder in 2025 or a third-rounder in 2023. The choice is up to Arizona, whichever they like, for Ryan Dzingel and defenseman Ilya Lyubushkin. So in this trade, the Leafs get a bottom pair stalwart defensive defenseman and a strong defensive bottom six forward in Dzingel. So many thought that it would cost a second rounder plus Ritchie alone to get rid of his $2.5 million cap hit for this year and next. As a starting point, you got to pay a second plus Ritchie just to get rid of him for nothing back. And Dubas was able to get basically pay that or maybe less and get 2 useful players back on expiring contracts.
Where do these guys come from?
From Arizona.
You said that already.
Did he say that? All right. It's not in the fucking thing here. I read. Sometimes I don't listen. I just read. And clearly, that was the case this time.
I don't write everything that's in my mind. I just speak sometimes. Yes, they're from the Arizona Coyotes, is who this trade is with. Who are also salty garbage, if you didn't know.
Oh,
They have like
they have a $5,000
they have like
stadium coming up. We knew
but
they
they
were
have like the
garbage.
entire second round of the next year of draft picks
They're still gonna
basically
be
belongs to
garbage.
Arizona for a while. Yeah. So the Leafs got two players back on two useful players on expiring contracts. What do you guys think of this trade? How do you think the Leafs fared here? Picking up these two players, getting rid of Nick Ritchie, which is the main piece here, because his cap hit next year for sure was going to be painful. At $2.5 million, and he's playing in the minors right now because he's not making the Leafs. That would have hurt a lot.
I
What do
don't
you
mind
think?
it. I don't mind it. I mean, it's only going to help. I mean, and hopefully they get some over the hump, the second hump, right? Not the first one.
They
So-
might need to get over the first hump before they got to work on the second hump.
Right.
They're on
First
like
hump.
the
What is
19th
what's the first
by
hump
now.
there, Yosh?
First round of the playoffs, bud. I don't know. I don't really know much about any of these guys, but based on the thought that lots of teams or people thought that it was going to cost the second and Richie to take on that cap hit, I think that's a good move to get rid of the cap dollars there, and hopefully these other two guys from the shitty Coyotes can at least do something. Something in this case, because Richie's not playing in the NHL. It's one of those, just like Goran Dragic, it's something for nothing, right? So that's good. You drop that cap space. If you can get some guys that are at least some role players for you, and so can fill some spots, especially defensively, which is what you need in the playoffs, then I think this is probably going to be good overall. And even if it isn't, and these two guys don't work out, you didn't lose a whole lot.
Right. And so I think it's exactly what the Leafs need as well. Like, they are a strong offensive team, especially in the core four. They're gonna be able to put up the goals when it counts. But where they may be struggling a little bit is defensively, and these are two strong defensive additions to the bottom of the lineup. They're not necessarily big time needle changers. Like, you're not adding a Chris Pronger type player. It's not. It's a bottom pair defenseman, but it's a strong defensive defenseman and a strong defensive forward.
I mean, like, that's the huge issue with the Leafs, is they don't have a lot of defense happening, and now that'll help them out. I'm really confused about you when you said that Arizona can choose between a third rounder and a second rounder.
A third rounder.
Why would
A
they
third
even
rounder
choose?
soon. This is the old New England Patriots trick. It's a third rounder right away, or a second rounder 3 years from now.
Which is completely unknown.
Yeah, and I bet you they're going to pick the third rounder. The Patriots used to do this all the time. They would give up a future or a current second for a future first, or some shit like that.
Well,
but
typically, I know in
he-
the NFL you can't trade first round picks too far into the future. I think it's like 3 years.
Yeah.
But I don't know about the lower rounds. I just know about the first round. So you can't typically change when it's a first round. You can't trade it when it's 3 years. 3 years is
Or
the
more.
max.
Yeah, and
So-
then I don't know what the rules are in the NHL. It might be something similar. This is 3 years in the future. Maybe that's the limit. I don't know.
Mhm. But
Maybe that's
I
why
think
we don't
it's
see many 2029 first rounders trade.
I think it's a good trade for them. They get an expiring contract, and then they just eat the salary. Like we've seen tons of teams in any league just eat salaries to get more picks. So
Yeah, right.
good on Coyotes, and these guys are expiring, so they got something for it, right?
Yep.
They got the rounds that they want, and like you said, maybe someone was going to else jump on that, and they were just like, nope, we're going to grab it first, and we don't care. We suck, so we're just going to eat the contract.
Yeah,
which is what they've been doing all year.
that's right. And credit to them, they're doing the absolute right thing as a losing team. You should be taking on shitty contracts and getting futures for that service to build your future. Whether it actually leads to a built future in Arizona or not remains to be seen. Maybe they'll win a Stanley Cup in front of 5,000 fans. I doubt it, but who knows? So the only other note on this trade is that even though they got out of the Richie contract, because he had cleared waivers and he was playing in the minors, they weren't actually, his full contract wasn't hitting the cap. So by completing this trade and adding these two players, they actually add cap 1.075 million of cap. So they're above the cap now. So it's very likely that Timothy Liljegren will get sent down today to make cap space. And whether he stays down until the playoffs or if there's other moves to be made remains to be seen. But that's probably what's going to happen as of now.
Wahoo.
Wahoo! And like Forrest Gump would say, that's all I have to say about that. So why don't we roll into our penalty box? I think Yosh can take us away and let us know what happened in the clutch challenge.
Yeah, so Friday night, the inaugural clutch challenge was played during the Rising Star Games. That's for the NBA All-Star Weekend. The new challenge has been added to honor the 75th anniversary team and some of the most legendary shots of all time. So teams were split into pairs and they competed to knock down shots from 5 iconic locations in the quickest time possible. Q, Scotty Barnes, and Tyrese Maxey. So they get set up for their chance at winning this clutch challenge. Barnes missed all 4 close range shots that were inspired by Magic's baby hook in the NBA Finals. Barnes put up brick after brick from basically the top of the restricted area. And Maxey didn't fare much better. He missed twice himself from point blank range. Maxey did, however, hit a corner 3, and Barnes did hit a top of the key 3-pointer. But for Barnes to miss the 4 close, like literally, like these guys are 6'5" plus, like they're tall as fuck.
It's like 6'8".
It's I mean, like, they just need a little bit of a fucking flick, and this ball should be in the basket, no problem. Couldn't do it. Like I said, Maxey, they switched out, so Barnes went to the outside to take the longer shots. Maxey came in, he couldn't make the fucking little layups, so he missed twice. So they missed 6 in total shots from close range, which is ridiculous considering that both of these guys are very good players. So afterwards, they obviously did not do well in this clutch challenge. They were not clutch at all. Afterwards, the pair were mic'd up and they were sitting there on the bench and they were joking around saying, well, at least we made some people laugh and maybe we'll get some followers. So they might get some Insta followers or some Twitter followers because of their asinine.
I mean, you're gonna get trolls if anything.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, hey, that's what they want, right? Let's just give us some more followers. So
any press is good press, right?
That's right. And so Maxey also said while they were macked up, he's like, we're gonna be on Shaqtin' a Fool this week. We're gonna be the MVP. And so Shaqtin' a Fool is much like, come on, man. It's much like you got mossed. It's much like Points and Penalties penalty box. So I can't guarantee that those boys are going to be in Shaqtin' a Fool MVPs. But what we can guarantee is that Scotty Barnes and Tyrese Maxey are firmly planted in this week's Points and Penalties penalty box for not making shots. Come on, man. You got to make some shots.
Yeah, this was pretty brutal.
Some clutch shots in a clutch challenge.
Yeah. And they were anything but clutch.
And the thing is Scotty has had some clutch shots here and there.
Well, both these players are good players.
The regular season, and then he kept going to it, and he, like you said, kept throwing up brick after brick.
He looked like me shooting out there, and I'm not very good.
I like how he hits the 3-pointer, but and it hit right in front of the net.
Yeah. All right, guys, that's pretty much going to do it for all the big content this week. We do have our scores to go over. Had a handful of challenges. Petey, why don't you tell us all about them?
Yeah, so like you said, there was 3 challenges this week. Starting off with the doping timing for the Russian figure skater. I won a point off you, Josh, on that.
Boo.
Then we had Mickelson being for the Saudi tour, which Kev stated that he was against. So Josh took a point off him on that.
Yeah.
And then I had the wrong 4th and 1 play where Donaldson was offside. Not Donaldson,
Watching
sorry,
fake
Donald.
news.
Yeah, and watching the fake news. So Jesse took a point off me on that one. And of course, Jesse got a point for calling the Rams shitty Super Bowl win. Shitty Rams.
I should get one for having the pick of the MVP. Just saying.
I mean, I would be willing to give it to you. Like, you're way down there, but
I mean-
pity, you're giving him a pity point?
I mean, if we're doing that, we should all get a point for having to deal with Jesse having a fucking Super Bowl win for the next year.
I'll give you one of those too. It just means I'm gonna be insufferable.
I mean, you haven't really had to deal with shit. Like Kevin and I were here during the Super Bowl. You're goofing, man.
There's a reason I dodged that party.
Yeah.
So that is it for our scores today. So that brings our season totals. Peter stays at +2. Cav drops to -6 on a familiar trajectory. Sorry, buddy. Jesse jumps up to +5. God damn it.
Damn it.
Familiar projection.
And Josh stays constant at -2.
Fuck.
So it's all shaken up just like last year. Hopefully we can turn the tide here a little bit and take some points off of Jesse. But
Only when golf season comes.
whatever happens, we're not betting 10 points on a fucking ring toss tournament. Watch it toss.
I'll win that
But
one.
that's it for the scores. So why don't we get into how our drinks were?
Why don't we, Pete? Why don't you start up?
No problem. So what did I have? I had a Squeeze Box New England IPA from Kitty Bitty Brewing in St. John's, Newfoundland. And they're going down real smooth. They don't have a very hoppy taste, I find. And yeah, they went down quite nice. I would definitely consider this again. Damn fine beer. Why don't we jump to Super Bowl douche? I mean, Jesse, how was your drink?
My Jatsu is very good. Bellwoods Brewery wasn't really that potent. It was a pale ale. It was good stuff. It's great for this episode to be that Super Bowl douche. I'll wear that with pride because they won.
Yeah.
Just to let you know,
wait till the
Peter,
Leafs
too.
win a Stanley Cup, buddy. You just wait.
The Rams have, in the last 22 years, the Rams have been in 4 Super Bowls. Where are the Leafs?
Not
Exiting
even
in
out of the first round, all right?
Where are the Leafs? Even Chicago's made the Super Bowl in that time.
Yeah.
A couple of times.
Yeah.
Even Atlanta Falcons. Even that
Rams have been in 4 Super Bowls? That doesn't sound
since
right.
99.
Yeah.
99
It's either they won 99 and this year, and
Yeah.
then they lost.
2001 and the 2018 season.
Right.
Wish they'd lose more. Anyway, carry
Yeah,
on.
we do. We all wish that.
I'll go with the 500 record in 22 years that they've won it all. I'll definitely take that.
Yeah.
There was a lot of shit between the Super Bowl loss and another Super Bowl loss, but I endured, and they figured their shit out. But Kev, how was your most potent?
Did you finish it?
stout?
Or are we carrying on for hours?
No, I finished it. I did this quick because it was
All right.
just,
So the next penalty box, because he didn't finish it, he's just lying to us.
Nickelbrook Brewing, Kentucky Bastard at the 11.9% Imperial Stout.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Jank it real quick. I'm pretty fucking tuned. It was, you know, I don't know. I would never do it again.
Shout out.
But there you
Nickel
go.
Brook Brewing.
Yeah, that's probably my last potent beer.
How
on this
big is that
episode.
bottle, Kev?
It's not 76 milliliters. It's like that much.
500.
Oh, that's it. It
Yeah.
looks bigger than that. Like, fuck,
Oh,
it's not
yeah.
much bigger than a
That's
tall
fuck
boy.
off.
Yeah. So I'll finish
But
this
it's
off there.
cold.
Yosh, with tossing this on to you.
So
How was
what
your
the fuck?
beverage?
So my 2 473s at half your alcohol content is basically the same shit.
Basically, yeah. You guys are pretty much at the same drunk level.
No, I was hungover from like.
You
starting
both
of
have
this,
the
so.
same internet connection too.
Yeah, you do.
Oh,
Fucking garbage. Pay your bills, boys.
My bad.
I am in rural Newfoundland. We pay the bills. This is the best we get. Carry on.
Get the
Yeah.
antenna up there, like Jesse said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's get some
Carry on.
satellite.
How was yours there, Yosh?
All right. For me, I had a beer that is for geniuses, and that's me. It's a Rush Canadian Golden Ale from Henderson Brewing Company with a little collaboration there with the band Rush, which of course we all know is Canadian. 5.5%. I had the bitch beer today,
Bitch.
but it was tasty. I enjoyed it. I only had one, so I had to go with a backup beer, which Jess was actually one of your backup beers from not the last time, but the time before you were at my place. Drinking.
You mean not the best time when I was last there?
No, I didn't say anything
When
about best.
there was a huge Super Bowl win.
There was a fucking game. I don't know if it was a good one or anything.
I mean, like it was one of the most watched games ever in Super Bowl history.
Huh?
The halftime show, you know.
The
It was
fucking right. The
probably most
halftime show was
halftime
bomb,
show.
boys. The halftime show is fucking bomb.
Yeah, that was definitely the best one.
I saw a meme that was like, it said, people over 40 or something like that, or over 45 are like, what the fuck? This is a garbage halftime show. And then people under 20 are like, what the fuck? This is a garbage halftime show. The rest of us, everybody's just dancing because I fucking loved it, man. I the only thing that pissed me off was I couldn't get my fucking stereo to work, so I couldn't crank it up a little bit more.
Put it up to the appropriate volume.
The appropriate volume, exactly. But anyway, getting back to my beer, bitch beer, tasty as fuck. Enjoyed it. Had a backup beer because I only had this one, and like I said, it was good. Good. Probably not quite as drunk as Kev, although I was drinking last night too. Drank a few bottles of wine, and had a nice little late Valentine's dinner. It's phenomenal. Gulf Steakhouse, shout out, fucking great meal. Anyway, guys, I think that's gonna do it. We've been going on for a while. We're rambling on about the Olympics, rambling on about the shitty Rams.
The Super Bowl winning Rams.
All right. So for everyone here at Points and Penalties, would like to thank you. Please subscribe on YouTube, wherever you get your podcast. If it's YouTube, it's right here.
Rams suck. Boom.
Make sure you give us a like. Make sure you give us a like and follow on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Points Penalties. And until next week,
Stay out of the
Yeah,
Penalty
Valley
box.
box.